Thank you very much. This is my first time speaking, so I'm reasonably nervous about the whole project. But I'll talk to you about what breaking down the borders was really about. So a little background about me. My school is in the middle of rural West Sussex. There's quite a bit of press at the moment. My head teacher was unfortunately on Morning Britain this morning, having an argument with Piers Morgan about funding, but we will gloss over that. Our school is massive. We've got nearly 2,000 kids, ranging from 11 to 18. They come from a reasonably large catchment because we are rural. We're the largest secondary school outside of Horsham. And our catchment's getting bigger, and certainly they're building more and more houses. So we're growing past 2,000 in the next year or so. So we're quite large. Most of our kids come from local villages. They're not from affluent areas at all. Some are, some aren't. And so a lot of them never make it out of Billingshurst. Now, Billingshurst is where I'm from. Well, not where I'm from, but where my school is. And it kind of is the centre of the middle of nowhere. So, as you can see on the map, there is very little around. Can I move on? Oh, I can. So, a little bit of my tech background as well. So, I did teacher training about 7 years ago. Google was sort of nowhere to be seen at that point, really. Google Drive came along just after Dropbox. So I moved from Dropbox to Google Drive, and we started using Padlet in school. And then some more cool stuff came along. So Desmos is definitely a maths thing. I'm a maths teacher, and if you ever want to do any graphing or use a calculator online that's free, then Desmos is definitely the place to go. And then in the last 12 months, I did all of the Google qualifications I could. So I did level 1, then level 2, and now I've just done my trainer. And this is where kind of my project really came from. So, typical technology used in maths. If you're in any sort of primary or secondary school, My Maths is definitely something that is used in your classroom. There are various different versions of Timetable Rockstars where we inflict some sort of technology-based self-marking process for checking kids' times tables. And I'm absolutely an advocate for making sure kids can do their times tables because it's really important. Kahoot is used, and that was mentioned in a previous one, for quizzes. And then Method Maths is, unfortunately, self-marking, which is great for teachers, but not so great for the kids because they have to get it absolutely right. They can't get it wrong. But it does give them some ability to look at past paper questions and things like that. Not very exciting. Really not very exciting. So, we had a project. It was a paper-based project. And it started with our partnership schools in Kenya. Now, we've got partnership schools because we send our sixth form or some of our sixth form out to Kenya every year to go and build some classrooms in schools where they've basically just got mud huts. So they fundraise and build the classrooms. And while they're out there, we get them interacting with the kids. So we give them a bit of paper and say, fill in this questionnaire. And then it comes back to us in the UK where we get year 8 to then input all the data into a spreadsheet, or the teachers input it all into a spreadsheet. And then we print off these great big A3 sheets of paper and hand them out to the kids and say, right, do some analysis of this paper. And I just thought, that really does need modernising. To sit there with sheets of A3 with like 0.6 type text really needed modernising. So during my Google Educator training, I got involved with this chap, Rhett Oldham. He is an American history teacher. Or no, he's a world history teacher. He's in America, in Texas. And he last year ran a global collaboration project. So he tried to get in touch with teachers around the world who were in countries where he was teaching his kids about something in history. So I found him. He kind of found me and wanted to talk to my kids about the Magna Carta, Battle of Hastings, and all those things. And I went, OK, I better look up on that before I start talking to him because I knew nothing about it myself, not being a historian at all. So we got involved and we started collaborating. We did a couple of video chats. And I said to him, I want to look at my maths project. So this was the plan. I wanted to connect schools around the world, not just our partnership schools in Kenya. They don't have the technology at the moment. It's getting there, but we're not quite there yet. I wanted the kids working in groups. Group work's great. We don't do it enough in maths apart from just sit there chatting to the person next to you about some ideas. So I wanted them to create the questionnaire from scratch. I gave them all a topic. So it was either home, holidays, hobbies, their future plans, school. So they all had a unique topic to think about, and they had to come up with some questions. So they were all working on paper, low tech at the moment. We then got them to bring in their own devices, because we haven't got an abundance of technology. So we got them to bring in their own devices and said to them, right, can you put these into a Google form? Can you put them together in a Google form? And then you can answer them, and we will send them to other schools around the world. So then after that, we said, right, these are the schools you're going to be partnered with. Think about what they're going to do. So hypothesize. So all of a sudden, the simple task of analysing some set data that they got from a school they knew about in Kenya, they were talking to kids that they had no idea about, America, Mexico, and places like that, and I'll show you the map in a minute. And they all had this perception of what an American kid would have, what an American school would be like. And it was quite interesting. So we shared the questionnaire with the schools in America. They filled it in themselves. They started collecting the data, analysed it, and then they created their own presentations. So pretty good, really. So I put this together. I was sitting in a hospital, actually, with my son, who'd come down with a nasty bug. And I sat there and I thought, I need to get this off the ground. So I joined half a dozen Google communities around the world and got schools involved. We used forums and then Hangouts to connect with the teachers as and when we could. So what did the kids get? So this is the map of the countries that we had. So we've got about seven countries, 12 schools around the world, and I used the whole of my years 7 and 8 to run the project. 500 kids in the UK, about 300 kids abroad, all took part in this project. Massive amount of data. What did the students get? I think my best question that I got asked in every class I went into when I introduced the project was, are we really talking to schools around the world? Are we really going to get data from some kid in Texas? Are we really going to get data from Mexico? Are we really going to get data from Australia? And I went, yeah. And as they saw the Google Sheet populate with all the data, they could see the logins. They could see the login said US. They said Australia. We even got some photos back from some of the kids in America saying, and now some of them have social interactions through social media as well. So I've run out of time, so I'm just going to move. So this year we're going to do a few more things to improve it, and obviously the slides will be with you, and I can talk to you about those later. And that is my contact information. I'm really sorry I've had to rush through the last little bit, but I've definitely gone over time.